Joining me is our Thursday regular commentator, Barnaby Joyce, the Nationals frontbencher and former Deputy Prime Minister. Barnaby, so Albanese says you are a threat to Medicare and the prescription benefit scheme, even though you've promised to spend everything they are going to spend, plus a little more for Medicare-funded psychology sessions. Is Albanese saying you're just lying about that? Are you going to, straight after the election, I fooled you, we're not going to spend that after all?
Isn't it amazing? I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to sell the PBS. I mean, how does this work? We've got no intentions of changing the PBS. And then they talk about Medicare. It's a government service. No one has ever whispered about selling, privatising, whatever, Medicare. Yeah, they keep on banging on about it. I mean, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Who wants to buy Medicare?
Look, the whole thing is nuts. They said you would do it at an election some years ago. You've had a couple of Liberal or coalition governments since, and Medicare wasn't sold. So I don't know what's keeping you from, unveiling your wicked plot.
Sparking mad rubbish. I mean, why don't you say we're going to sell the Opera House or sell the Sydney Harbour Bridge?
Is that how?
Or, I don't know, sell Uluru. I mean, they're also BS myths. We're not selling this stuff. I mean, and it just goes, why don't they come out and debate on serious policy? Why don't we debate on intermittent power and how it's driving people into poverty and wrecking our economy and taking, making us a laughing stock of energy grids around the world. Let's have a debate about that.
So true. Mate, let's do that. But honestly, thank you, by the way, for censoring that swear word that nearly came out of your mouth. I really appreciate that. Our licence is safe for another day. The clowns who disrupted the media appearances of Treasurer Jim Chalmers yesterday, Peter Dutton, Angus Taylor today, is this just, vibrant democracy in action, or is it something else?
Oh, it's a regular shtick, as you say, that run out the people who, you can bet your life none of them have got a job, and they yak eye on. Go to the press conference. This will make us a real Trotskyists. This is what you do to the Tories. Yo. We'll all go back and sit around our wind chimes and talk about how we're Marxists and how we're going to take on the revolution. I don't think they ever do any benefit for themselves. People call them for exactly what they are. They're just rat bags yak-eyeing on, trying to destroy the political debate, which the Australian people are entitled to hear. They're entitled to hear Peter Dutton and Angus Taylor. We're entitled to hear Anthony Albanese and Jim Chalmers. We're entitled to hear them. That is, and that should be respected, our right to listen to the political debate. And we don't need some undergraduate Marxists banging on about, so they can go back and fluff their feathers at the Manic Monkey Cafe in Annandale.
Well, it's interesting, think about it. I can't think of the last time a Conservative or a right-winger disrupted a politician's meeting, but I can think of so many examples of the left doing it. There is something about the left, a streak of intolerance.
It's the left that sit on the railway lines. It's the left that sit on the railway lines to stop the coal trains moving down to Newcastle to earn our nation a buck, so we can pay you for your PBS and pay for your Medicare. Right? What you got to do is try and make sure that I make as much money out of that as possible to put export dollars on the boat, that the miners make as much money as possible to put export dollars on the boat, that the gas does. Yet these sort of, undergraduate lefties with a chip on their shoulder and funny shirts go sit on the railway line and think that that's good. They turn up to Angus Taylor and Peter Dutton's thing and they yak eye on there. But how about we just turned up at their university and shut it down, or turned up in their street outside their nice little house in a suburban area and just shut their gate and widened it and, I don't know, put barking dogs at the front. They would be the first ones to take us to the High Court as racists, as bigots, as whatever, intemporal things that have disturbed their lives. They're such hypocrites, and people call them for hypocrites. They're hypocrites, and where they take our nation is to destitution.
Oh, that too. But I'm just thinking, it's the intolerance And the hypocrisy. I mean, they keep saying, look out for the right, you know, they're really violent, they're this and this. But the political violence is almost exclusively from the left, and the intolerance and the shutting down things, the campus occupations that we saw by pro-Palestinian activists and all that. It's really extraordinary. I need to get a psychologist in to talk about this intolerance, but also this hypocrisy as well. Our latest population figures are out, Barnaby, today. In a single year, we increased Australia's population by 1.8%, nearly 2% increase. That is just a sensational growth rate and a frightening one. We put on an amazing 484,000 extra people, nearly half a million in 1 year. All of them needing housing, which we're not building at anything near that. That is a huge increase, most of it because of our out-of-control immigration. What do you make of this?
Well, look at this. I mean, and ladies and gentlemen, I know there's so many people listening to you, and they're listening to you from Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Okay, well, guess where those people are going? Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. They're not coming. They're not going to live in Woolbrook. They're not going to live in. They're not going to live in Limborough. They're not going to live in Bendemeer. They're living with you. And have you built the hospitals? Have you built the schools? Have you built the police stations? Have you increased your defence force to deal with this? Have you built the roads? Have you built the dams that the lefties hate? Those same people yakking on in front of Dutton and Taylor. Have you built the dams so they got the water? No. You just poured in the people. And you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to dig up the roads where the people already are, put in bigger sewage pipes, get bigger roads, get more police. You haven't got the schools. Your kids are going to be complaining about too many kids in the schools. You're going to be chock-a block on the roads.
We're going to get more electricity. That's what we need, Barnaby.
Yeah, well, we don't.
More electricity. These are guys that want to shut down our power systems. They want to shut down our power systems while importing 500,000 people almost. I mean, it's just the whole thing is crazy, Barnaby. Thank you so much for your time.